Alright folks, we're looking now at stratified samples. So these different ways of making a sample from the big group. And this particular works for when you've got a population that is carved up into very noticeable groups. So the classic one might be grades in a school. Okay, you've got grade 9s and grade 10s. Like they are precise groups, okay, that you can pick. By the way, this is on page 5 of your workbook. Okay, so let's have a look at how we do this. A large Australia-wide transport company employs 22 auto electricians, 35 diesel mechanics, 134 drivers and 15 machinists. The company wants to survey 40 employees in total. How many of each group should be selected for the survey? All right, now the problem is the groups are all different sizes. So like the biggest group is the drivers. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that each group is represented. But what we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 groups and there's 40 employees. You could say, well, let's just grab 10 from each group because, 40 divided by 10 is 4. Okay, cool. So there's 4 groups. If we just get 10, done. But look at that. That means most of the machinists will be picked and very few of the drivers. So the drivers would be underrepresented, the machinists would be overrepresented. So we want to avoid that. We want to figure out how best to pick from the groups. Okay? So, first of all, what's the total? Okay, how many people have we got in total? Okay, so we've got 22, 35, 134 and 15. All right, so there's 206 employees in total. Okay, now you don't need to write the word auto electrician. Okay, I'm just going to go AE, that's my auto electricians. And my diesel mechanics, these are going to be DM. The drivers are going to be D, and the machinists are going to be M's. Okay, so that you don't need to write the whole thing out, but you do need to tell me in the exam which group you're calculating. All right, it's really important. We want to do 40 people in total. All right, so basically we want to figure out what is the fraction of the whole group that are auto electricians and find that fraction of the 40. Okay, so here's how it works. So the auto electricians, there's 22 of them. So 22 out of 206. Okay, remember how we did that? So 22 out of 206. That's the fraction of the whole lot that are auto electricians. Well, let's find that fraction of 40. Why 40? Because I want 40 people in my survey. All right, so let's do that. 22 times 40 divided by 206. 22 times 40 divided by 206 gives me 4.27. Now, I can't pick 2.27 people. I can pick 4 or I can pick 5. So if I round that to the nearest whole number, that's 4. Okay, so I'm going to pick 4 of the auto electricians. All right, diesel mechanics, there's 35 of them. So that's 35 over 206 times 40. Because 35 out of 206 is the diesel mechanics. All right, so that times that divided by that. 35 times 40 divided by 206 gives me 6.79. All right, now, again, I can't have 0.7. I can have 6 or I can have 7. That's going to round up. So that's 7. So I'll be picking 7 diesel mechanics. Drivers are going to be the biggest group. There's 134 of them out of 206. All right, what have we got? So we've got 134 times 40 divided by 206. So that's 26.01. Call that just 26. That's easy enough. And finally, the machinists, they're the smallest group, so I've got 15 over 206 times 40. 15 times 40 divided by 206. 2.9, so call that 3. All right, now here's the kicker. If life is good, then this here will add up to 40. Okay, so you do need to check. But notice the setting out. This is just there to help you. If you do one line for each group, okay, and at the end you've got their totals, their rounded off totals, you do need to have this in here because you may need to make a judgment as to, you know, whether there's a rounding error. Okay, but let's just add this up. Okay, that adds up, if you look at it, to 40. Nice. Here's what can happen though. Okay, if something is right on the cusp of being either rounded up or rounded down, okay, you can end up, if you've got too many that are rounding up, you can end up with a rounding error that bumps this up to maybe 41 or rounds it down to 39. If that's the case, you need to just look back and see which one is closest to being switched the other way, okay? But that's pretty rare, but just be aware that it does happen. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that there's a rounding error because of the rounding up and rounding down. Okay, but that is basically it. Step 1, you get your totals. Then you set it out so you've got each group. If there's 5 groups, you'll have another one down here. If there's only 3, then you've just got that, okay? But you're doing the same steps each time. You've got the total on the bottom, the number that's in the group over the total. So that's the fraction of the whole thing that is auto electricians. So you're finding that fraction of the whole group. Oh, sorry, of the sample. You only want 40 in the sample. Okay? If I wanted 50, then I'd have 50 here, and this would add up to 50 due to the magic of maths. Okay? So that's how stratified sampling happens. So they would know now, all right, so we go to the auto electricians and we pick 4 of them. Go to the diesel mechanics, pick 7 of them. Go to the drivers, pick 26. Go to the machinists and pick 3. What that achieves is that, first of all, I know I've got 40, and each group is represented according to how big they are. And so therefore it's fair. That is the big advantage of stratified samples. It's fair once you actually figure out how many you need from each group. Okay? Have fun.